Uh, and for the folks who don't know about the nonprofit organization Seva International, I would like to give a brief information on that. Seva International is a Hindu faith-based nonprofit organization that is spread across 23 nations and over 43 states in US. We have over 5,000 plus volunteers in this country that fulfill Seva International's vision to serve selflessly with compassion, irrespective of race, religion, nationality, or gender. We have programs internationally, nationally, and locally, and our development programs focus on family services, child, tribal, and refugee welfare, women empowerment, health, and education. In addition to the US, we conduct development projects in Colombia, Guyana, India, Kenya, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Seva Detroit chapter started in 2021 with 2 volunteers to 50 plus volunteers now and has been doing the community service in domestic violence, financial awareness, catering to local needs, and youth development majorly. A quick disclaimer on and the house rules before we begin the session today. This program is not a personalized treatment plan or medical advice. So please consult your medical health provider before participating in any yoga or mindfulness sessions. Anyone suffering from lumbar pain or disc hernia, neck spondylitis or abdominal surgery or surgery, heart condition or arthritis will perform with their doctor's permission and their own choice to participate. The entire mindfulness session is very gentle and professionally guided and will benefit everyone in most of these medical conditions unless told by a doctor not to participate. By participating, you're acknowledging that you are aware of any risk of self-injury and you discharge Dr. Shreelekha Adsule and Synergy Yoga Suite of any causes or claims of action known or unknown that may arise due to this class. Next, I would like to before I go into the introduction of Dr. Shreelekha Adsule, I would also like to go through some house rules. Everyone is requested to be muted throughout for the webinar unless we request them to unmute. If anyone is unmuted during the webinar, then they will be muted by our co-hosts. Please type in your questions in the chat box and the speaker will answer those at the end of the webinar. And today's webinar will be recorded. And please email sevadetroit.fs@gmail.com for any questions or concerns regarding the webinar. And we will add in that email address in the chat also so that you all have access to it. And so those are the house rules. Lastly, I have the pleasure now to introduce our presenter for today's session, Dr. Shreelekha Adsule. So Dr. Shreelekha Adsule completed her PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology from Pune, India. She received a Women Scientist Award from Government of India for her novel research work on anti-cancer drug design for resistant cancers. She has received certification in yoga, certification in India and USA in several styles such as Vinyasa, adaptive, trauma-based, prenatal and postnatal, yoga for female health, including PCOD and menopause, yin yoga, chair and kids and teen yoga teaching. She offers in-person at her home studio and online yoga classes via Zoom. And Shreelekha ji is also a certified teacher of mindfulness-based stress meditation and offers 4 and 8-week courses as well. So welcome everyone and thank you so much Dr. Shreelekha ji for taking up today's session and we really appreciate it. And I'll hand it over to you now. Take it away from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Smita ji. Namaste. And a very warm welcome to all of you, all the participants here. It's really a pleasure to host this show. It's a program called Mindfulness-Based Stress Meditation Reduction. Actually, it's stress reduction. So it's MBSR. So M is Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction Meditation Program. I'm going to share my screen here. So one of the requests that I had was before we start, I wanted to see everybody, all the participants. because one of the most important thing as we do this mindfulness is for me as the facilitator to view what everybody is doing. So unless and until, you're too busy or, you're doing something else side by side, I would like to request you to kind of turn on your videos. Are you able to see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is it visible to everybody?
Yeah, I think we are
Okay.
able to view it.
So Smita, I can see people actually entering inside. Will you be able to take care of it so that um,
Yeah.
that
Um,
I can focus on the presentation?
sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so let's begin. So today's program is about learning how to be mindful. So this mindfulness meditation certification program is something that I learned through one of my mentors. His name is Per Norgen, and he resides in Denmark. And it was a very, very eye-opener course to learn this meditation, because as a yoga practitioner, I'd been doing meditation for a couple few years on and off. But this mindfulness course that I did with him really, really opened my eyes to everything I was doing, apart from the yoga asanas that I used to teach in the class. So I try to incorporate more of this mindfulness, more and more of this mindfulness in each of the yoga asana class that I teach. Um, Classically, this mindfulness course is taught one-on-one or in a small group as an 8-week course. But some of the members of Seva actually requested me. And so I've actually compromised this whole program into a 2-hour program. Obviously, not going to touch base with every other aspect of this mindfulness course because there's a lot to learn. But I'll try to highlight as many things as possible as we move along. So as you can see, this is the way I actually teach it from week 1 to week 8. We have certain topics that we discuss and share, and there are different techniques that I share. And you also get a journal, self-journal that you do with me, and we meet every other Saturday or Sunday. Um, so in today's session, I thought I actually divided this into understanding what is mindfulness, then understanding the physical and emotional benefits of mindfulness. And then obviously the main part is where you learn to remain calm in pleasant and unpleasant situations. And then we are going to learn about the mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the breath, and mindfulness of the senses. So this session is divided into 2 parts. We are going to learn the first half and then until the mindfulness of the breath. And the second half is going to be where we learn mindfulness of the senses, where we are going to do a little bit of facial massaging. And then we are going to go down to the floor where you will be guided into a guided relaxation. So literally during our everyday life, we literally live in 3 tenses. It's like back to the future and present. So it's not only that we are living in this moment, we are actually living in the past as well as in the future. Sometimes our body is recollecting something that happened yesterday, but our mind is in the future, or vice versa. Our mind is like 10 years ago, and then body is in the present. And there's literally no connection between the body and the mind. So one of the founder members of this mindfulness-based stress reduction is dear Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, and he's an emeritus professor at the Stress Reduction Clinic and Center for Mindfulness in Minnesota. So he actually was a yoga practitioner and started learning about Buddhist traditions, about meditation and yoga, and it really perked his curiosity, and he actually dove in further, wherein he actually came up with a small program for his clients, and he started teaching them simple meditations in the basement of the University of Minnesota, which was like a health hospital. And gradually, as it attracted more and more attention, he then created a stress reduction clinic, and now it's like a center for mindfulness. And all over the world, you can see that he's busy talking about it. Even till to date, he's actually giving TED talks, and he's actually teaching people. So he's a very humble, very gentle, and a very, very, I would say, really a mindful yoga practitioner. All of his meditations are available on YouTube. So if you want to avail service of that, please feel free to do so. So let's define this mindfulness. So mindfulness is, as Dr. John Kabat says, it's about paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, without judgment. Now, this definition, well, it seems simple, is a very tough one because, you actually have to enable yourself to do all these things. So paying attention, that's the first thing. And then in a particular way, that means your intention has to be really fine focused here. And then on purpose at the same time. Sometimes the mind is really, really, really not budging, and you have to really guide it very, very strictly. And then while being in the present moment, and that's exactly what we are going to learn today. And the last part is without judgment. So how do we do all these things is what's going to unfold as we go along. So at this moment now, where I can see all of you, I'm going to actually invite all of you to kind of settle in your chairs if you're sitting in a chair, or if you're sitting in your bed. I'm going to ask you to press your feet. If you're sitting in a chair flat, your feet should be about at least shoulder width distance. Rest your hands gently on your thighs. You're going to pay attention to the lowest part of your spine, which is your tailbone, and kind of scoop your tailbone under so that your hips are kind of tilting back, and then bring your hips into like a neutral position. So if you're tipping forward, you want to scoop them slightly ahead. And if you're tipping back, make your adjustments that way. Soften your stomach muscles and pay attention to your sternum, which is your first bone right here in your rib cage. So gently elevate it. If your shoulders are kind of scooching up towards your ears, roll your shoulders back and down, kind of in your mind's eye, visualize your back body and kind of scoop your shoulder blades together. Lengthen the sides of your neck. Keep your jaw unlocked and softly close your eyes. So at this moment now, I'm going to ask you a few questions and see what rings to you today. What's bringing joy right now? What are the joyful things that are happening in your life? What is going well for you today? Right from the time that you woke up till the time that we are meeting here. And what is feeling pleasant? So this pleasantness can be about your body, about your mind, and also about any event. Take a moment here to reflect on these three questions. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you is, what's challenging you right now? What are the challenges in your life? What's causing you stress? Think about anything by which you are just completely thrown off. You're not able to find your balance. And what about life is unpleasant? It can be in the form of a body sensation. It can be in the form of an emotion. And from here, I'm going to guide you into your first minute mindfulness meditation. Now, it may feel unpleasant right now, or it might be very comfortable as you're seated in your chair. Scan your neck, your shoulders, and your back, and try to see what kind of sensation you're holding here. Focus on your face. Check whether you're tensing up your facial muscles, starting with your jawline, muscles around your mouth, muscles around your eyes. check the position of your eyebrows. Is the right eyebrow and the left eyebrow kind of crunching up together, causing wrinkles? Try to smoothen your forehead. Relax your ears. Try to focus at the center of your chest, at your heart center. And without changing anything, just notice shifting from your body to your involuntary breathing. Just notice how you're breathing, how your chest is moving, how your stomach is moving, if at all, if you're holding your breath. Pay attention to your feet now, focusing on the big toe of your right foot, the sensation in your right ankle. Notice your right knee and the sensation behind the right knee, at the back of your thigh, and the right sit bone. Bring your awareness now into the left toe, the big toe of your left foot, your left ankle, your left knee, the space behind your left knee, and the sensation that resides there. Focus on your left sit bone. Becoming aware of your whole body now. Just observing your body, allowing your mind to do what it does. Observe if you become restless, if your mind is resisting the slow tempo of this meditation. Focusing at the breath, once again at the tip of your nose. See how you're breathing. Switching now from involuntary breath to a more voluntary breath. We shall breathe at the count of 4 and breathe out at the count of 4, starting now. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathing in 1, 2, 3, and 4. Breathing out 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathing in 1, 2, 3, and 4. And breathing out 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go back to your normal breath. Once again, scan your body from the top of your head, sides of your neck, your jawline, shoulders, the way you're holding your back body, your sit bones, the back of your knee, your arms, the soles of both your feet, right foot and the left foot. Take a deep inhale through the nose and a soft exhale through your mouth, washing off all the pain or the discomfort you might be holding in any part of your body. Let's do that. Inhale. With a sigh, exhale. Let's try that one more time. Inhale in. Exhale out. One more time. Inhale in. Exhale out. Join your hands at the heart center, thumbs touching the sternum, fingers away from the chest. Tip your chin down towards the floor. Thanking yourself for tuning in to this present moment and setting your good intention for the rest of this class. Let us say the prayer as we begin. Yogena chittasya parena vacha sharira yasya vaityakena yopakarotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranajaliranatosmi. Om sahana bhavatu सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनामधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Rub your hands together, placing them on your eyes. Allow your forehead, eyes, and cheeks to receive the warmth. And once you feel ready, slowly remove your hands and smile. So here I'm going to invite all of you to introduce yourself very quickly. So please tell me your name, your profession, and which city you come from, and what interested you to take this course. Whoever wants to go first, please feel free to do that.
Let me start. My name is Rohit Rena. I'm from Troy, and I'm a business immigration consultant. And yeah, I have, like everybody else, the day-to-day stresses. And like you said, there are points in my body where I physically feel those stresses, and then there is the mental stress. And I wanted to know how I could cope and deal with those.
Thank you so much, Rohit ji, for sharing this. Definitely, we'll be diving more deeply into everything that you just talked about. Thank you. Anybody else? Smita ji?
Yeah, namaste. Hello, everyone. My name is Smita Acharya. I live in Canton, Michigan, and I work as a lead software engineer with Thomson Reuters. Yeah, this session, I don't know, like is very important to all of us, and we do have, just like Rohit ji, day to day. It's physical or emotional stress at different times. So I'm looking forward to to your session, Shreelekha ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Smita. Thank you, Smita.
Hello, namaskar. My name is Urvashi Khosa. I'm an engineer at Samsung, and my purpose is to learn how to control the emotional stress more than the physical stress.
Okay. Thank you so much, Usha ji, for sharing. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Vijay Patnaik. I am from Rochester Hills. I'm an IT manager at Hillenbrand. In the last few months, I've been dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety with whatever things going around me. So I wanted to take this session to help me with dealing with stress and anxiety, and also, to focus more on the positive side of the life, and do away with all the negativity that goes around.
Thank you so much, Ji. That was, I know because my husband's in the IT too, so I know everybody's facing stressors in some way or the other. So thank you so much for sharing. Sharon, can we hear from you?
Sure. I think that stress and reducing stress is one of the most important parts of the yoga practice. And since that just happens to be my theme this month for my teaching, so the timing was perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much, and a very warm welcome. So happy to see you. Anybody else wants to go? It's not compulsory, but it's good to know who are there in the classroom. So anyway, yes.
Hi, my name is Srini Mupa. I live in Northville, Michigan. I work in IT. But I'm basically a customer identity access management architect. My intention here is basically, to control the anxiety and the stress management.
Thank you so much, Sriniji. You're very warm welcome, and that's exactly what we'll be learning about. And I hope that this class will be a good takeaway for you, to practice in your daily life.
Hi, I'm Simi from Troy, Michigan. I work in a school, so I joined this session out of curiosity because I heard a lot about the yoga practices. So I joined this session out of curiosity. Let's see how it will go.
Okay. Warm welcome, Simiji. I hope it helps you and hope it helps you in your classroom, because I have taught
Thank you.
after school yoga programs for Montessori and elementary schools. So I've heard a lot about teachers and their stressors. So very warm welcome.
Thank you so much.
I think that's about it, right? So if anybody wants to go, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll move ahead. All right. So as we did the first meditation today, you can understand that, paying attention to the present moment, as we call it, is very, very tough. Just to kind of drop down and, to stop doing everything that you're doing and to start paying attention to even something as, very, very palpable, such as your body. Just to kind of tune into the sensations of the body itself is a huge challenge. And the huge challenge is because of our mind. So not judging yourself and simply to pay attention itself is a hard task. So on the left side of this slide, I share the mindful meter. And this is something that I want to share with you, kind of to raise the bar and to raise your awareness. So every time, every one of you today shared with me that, you have some or the other stresses, I want you to keep in the mind that we have the mindful meter. So every time you start feeling that stress, just ask yourself, where am I on my mindful meter? Am I mindless? Am I simple-minded with, quite a lot of thoughts? Or am I being single-focused? Am I being single-minded? Or am I really being mindful? So the more awareness that you create about your own practice, that practice is day to day. So yoga practice, as Simiji said, or somebody else said that, yoga practices talk a lot about mindfulness. So what is this mindfulness all about? That mindfulness is nothing but coming into that moment in a very highly aware kind of a way. And it's what kind of steering and gearing your mind towards it, because the mind is going to resist. The mind is like the monkey, and the mind is going to do its own thing, and it's going to take you places. But how do you actually, harness that mind and kind of guide it where you want it to go? So energy flows where attention goes. And most of the time, the mind is doing its silly things, focusing on, unimportant things, and giving you and creating that stress that we are all familiar with. So let's see how we are going to do. So the first thing I want to teach you is the mindful meter. So every day, whenever you feel stressed, I want you to remember that you can cue yourself into understanding where you are on your mindful meter. So you already have introduced yourself. So some of the ground rules in this class is that, you're going to show up as your authentic self, and nobody's going to judge you. So every one of you told me about your background and what you're actually challenged with. And this is a very safe space where you can share all these things. So the first thing I want to tell you is that each of us is going to approach the mindfulness as a beginner. Even I, to this date, since the time that I started practicing yoga and I did this MBSR course, the first thing that was literally grilled and, kind of taught to us was that we are all beginners. It doesn't matter. So every time that you practice this mindfulness, which will be many, many times throughout the day, we are all beginners, and it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to kind of, be easy, go easy on yourself. Now, as a group, we are all going to be supporting and accepting. Whatever we share here is, we are going to give each other that space, a safe space to talk. It's going to be confidential, of course, and it's going to be accessible. So even the yoga that we do today is going to be done on a chair, because I can see that there are some senior citizens who have joined us. So a very warm welcome to all of you. And if you feel that you can join me on the mat later on, you can do a few yoga stretches. We are going to do those. And it's safely challenging, because unless and until, we actually come out of our comfort zone, something that we are used to certain patterns of behaving and certain patterns of reacting. Unless and until we break that mold, nothing is going to move forward for us. So we are going to safely challenge ourselves, safely come out of our comfort zone. And obviously, when we do that, we are going to change. We are going to feel that growth. And that's what the mindfulness is going to do for us. So unless and until we challenge, we will not feel that growth. So with that, I'm going to present the first slide. So I'm going to talk about the mind-body connection, which is called as the psychosomal link. Now on this picture, you can see that this lady is sitting here with a book in her hand, and on the top of her head, she has got like galaxies floating around. So you can see that our mind is actually kind of sensing everything through our 5 senses, which are, in Sanskrit, the term for this is jnanendriyas. So these jnanendriyas are the intellectual senses that actually kind of perceive everything that's happening around us. Our eyes enable us to see everything since the day that we are born till the day we pass on. Our ears hear every single sound far and near, and sometimes we can hear our own heartbeats. The same way goes with the touch, the same thing goes with your taste, and the same thing goes with the smell. So these 5 jnanendriyas actually help you to kind of absorb everything from the world as we perceive it, and the people interaction that we do in our relationship and for our own selves. And it actually communicates this back to the mind, which is called as the 6th sense. So the mind and the body are constantly talking to each other. And the mind, as you know, there's no organ as a mind. So what is the mind? The mind is nothing but a complex system of your brain and your nervous system, and something higher than that you're not really able to tap into, but you're able to sense it. So this mind, which is the sense that talks to your jnanendriyas, takes in all the information, and it actually reciprocates to it through the body. How it does it is through your brain and your nervous system. So what we are going to see here is that the body in day-to-day activity, right from the time that we were born till to date, is in a form or a state of homeostasis. Homeostasis means that the body is doing its own good things, all the biochemical reactions in our body, the way that our heart is pumping, the way that our food is getting digested in our stomach, the way that our kidneys are doing the excretion, from the time that we conceive a baby to the time that the baby is born. All these processes are governed by one organ in the body, and that is the brain. And there are certain glands present inside the brain that actually control this homeostasis. These glands are the endocrine glands. Now, endocrine glands are those glands which secrete certain chemical molecules directly into the blood, and hence they are very, very powerful organs in our body. One of the master endocrine gland is called as the hypothalamus. I'm going to talk a little bit about the brain here now. There are 2 parts of our brain. One is the conscious brain, and one is the emotional brain. So this conscious brain is our analytical thinker, and the conscious brain is a part where the hypothalamus is located, called as the limbic brain. Now, whenever we are taking in all the information, our hypothalamus is the one that actually is receiving all that information, and it is giving back the response to the conscious brain, and the conscious brain actually translates that down into your physical body. So you can see here on this slide that any change in the normalcy of the way the body works, any kind of change in that is perceived by the body as stress. It can be a very simple thing, such as change in your routine, change even in your toothpaste, or we are used to doing certain things. Sometimes, some certain brand of thing that we are not able to eat, that is a stressor for us. Or or the weather can be a stressor for us. We are used to certain type of weather, and suddenly, it snows 8 inches outside. That becomes a big stress for us because we know what's going to unfold after that. So any major change, it can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be mental. All these changes are perceived as stress by the body. What happens is, on the left-hand side, you can see that the stressful event in the form of an exam, an important meeting, financial setback, interpersonal conflict, car accident, or a new life challenges, all of these are perceived by every individual. Now, how you perceive it is the makeup of your body and especially your mind. Now, the mind is reacting and the body is also reacting. So the mind is the psychological stress changes that you see. And when the body reacts, they are the physiological stress changes that you see. On the extreme right hand, you can see the individual responses to stress. So what happens is, the moment there are any changes in our day-to-day routine in the form of physical changes, emotional changes or mental changes, we are not able to handle it, or we react to it. And when we react to it and it's unregulated, then we actually experience anxiety, we experience anger, we experience fear or the frustration, or our cognitive performance is affected here. Or sometimes we go through behavioral changes as well. And when the body reacts to this, then we can see that, our heartbeat increases, we sweat a lot, or we might blink a lot, or there might be hormonal fluctuations, or there can be neurochemical changes because the brain and the nervous system, everything is linked together, or this can lead to a state of physical exhaustion. Now, how do you behave when you are stressed? So we all talked about, I'm experiencing stress in my daily life. It can be job related, it can be interpersonal relation, it can be something personal that's happening to you in the form of your health. So how do you behave when you are stressed? So most of the time, our nervous system classically behaves by responding in 4 ways. We either learn to fight, we either learn to flight, we either freeze, or we fawn. And these are all the kind of stress responses that, we kind of exhibit. So when we are fighting, we are obviously angry, we are combative, threatening, screaming, demanding, controlling, defensive. When we are in the flight mode, we might be more fearful, we might become anxious, we might avoid things, avoid talking to people, avoid interacting with people. We might run away from the situation, avoid the situation. We might procrastinate, we might withdraw, or we might just hide. We might go off on a long vacation and not be in touch with anybody, which is sometimes good. And then we might just freeze. We might be very helpless. We might feel overwhelmed. We might feel stuck, or we might just shut down, emotional shutdown, okay? We might zone out. We might become unresponsive, or we might just isolate ourselves. And then there's the fawn kind of a stress response, which is like codependence, anxiousness, people pleasing, no boundaries. Then people can take advantage of you. We keep on flattering others to please others, or sometimes we cannot speak for our own selves, and we are easily controlled. Now, the reason that I'm talking about this stress is because the stress kind of builds up in you. Now, sometimes there is a brief stress. Sometimes, a simple change, such as, your favorite toothpaste is no longer there. You have to use some other type of toothpaste that you have been using for 15 years, maybe. That's just a small stress. You have to get used to the taste of that toothpaste, and you kind of adopt to it. So that's just a positive small stress. Now, tolerable stress is something that you have to repeatedly keep on changing, repeatedly keep on challenging yourself with. It might be that you have a sudden new boss, and you have to kind of, get to used to the new boss's lifestyle, or, the way that he commands or she commands and does things around you. So that becomes a very tolerable kind of stress. You're still adopting, your body, mind is kind of dealing with it, but you still don't have the hang of it, and you're experiencing that kind of stress still inside. And then there's the toxic kind of stress, when chronically for years and years, when you're experiencing a lot of change and you don't know how to deal with it, that's the time when you're experiencing toxic stress. Now, let's see what happens when we actually experience tolerable and toxic stress in our lives. So you can see that any kind of imbalance, that's the stress, it's actually going to affect your body physiologically. So the way that it's going to manifest itself is going to be in the form of headaches or fatigue, or your muscles might ache a lot. You might have skin breakouts. There might be frequent infections. And sometimes you might even become asthmatic, or something like you might have breathing problems. And when it's related to the mind, then you're constantly an overthinker, and you are worrying all the time. You are indecisive. You are full of negativity. Everything that you approach is that, this is just not going to go well in my life anymore. That kind of a mindset. Or sometimes your thinking is really dull. You're not able to think properly or reach a decision properly. Or sometimes you are in a haste and you make very hasty decisions, and they don't actually give you the correct results. And sometimes there is impaired judgment. So all these things are the stresses that are affecting your mind. Sometimes it goes deeper even, and your emotions get affected. So you will see that there is loss of confidence, there is a lot of apprehension in your behavior, And sometimes it even leads to something such as depression, and you chronically feel depressed for a long, long length of time. And then obviously, you are very irritable. People around you notice that, you've become very irritable nowadays. And it's all because of the chronic stress that you have been holding inside for a long time. And these are all the cues. Your body and mind is giving you a signal that you've been holding that chronic stress inside you for a long length of time. And then insomnia. So you just lose your good sleep over it. The amount of quality and the quantity of sleep that you're getting is really, really poor. And then sometimes you can see extreme form of the stress, which is in the form of your behavior. Sometimes you become addicted to certain things, such as in the form of smoking or drinking or even abusing drugs. Sometimes there is loss of appetite. And then you become very mindless, where you become accident prone. And then there's a kind of restlessness because nothing is making you happy. You're not finding stable ground. So you're a very restless person, and people can sense your energy that time. And sometimes because people cannot relate to you anymore, you kind of isolate yourself and become very, very lonely. And that loneliness actually causes you more suffering inside, internally. Externally, nobody knows, but internally, you are a very lonely person. And obviously, it affects your sleep as well. So what's happening here is that in the previous slide, in this slide, I showed you that the imbalance and the stress is causing a lot of dis-ease conditions, and you're actually losing your good hormones. So I just wanted to briefly introduce the happy hormones that we have. Not our body is actually very beautifully engineered in that way, and it knows what to do. It knows which hormone to secrete at what time. Not all stresses are bad. Stress is nothing but the way our body deals with changes. So, a certain form of adrenaline, which is one of the hormone released by our kidneys. There's a gland that sits on top of our kidneys called the adrenal cortex. So whenever you feel stress, your body releases the adrenaline, and it's a good dose. This adrenaline actually helps you to become more active. Your muscles become ready for the activity of the day. Or even certain times when there are tense situations, you kind of become single focused. Your breathing kind of becomes more activated, and the energy is provided to the more active organs of the body. So stress in a good form is good way, but chronic stress is bad. And the reason is because it's reducing the happy hormones of your body. Let's look at some of the happy hormones here now. One of the first hormone that I want to talk about is dopamine. So dopamine is a rewarding chemical. It's one of the neuropeptides or the neurotransmitters that is produced by the midbrain in your body. And what this dopamine does is it actually makes you feel very good whenever you're doing a task. And the simple task can be such as eating chocolate. So every time you eat chocolate, the midbrain inside the deep part of your brain is actually stimulated to produce this neurotransmitter, which gives you a very happy feeling. So you repeatedly keep on doing the same thing, such as even simple things such as reading a book. That might trigger your midbrain to produce more dopamine, or listening to music or dancing. So these things are in a good way helping you to produce more and more good amounts of happy hormone called the dopamine. And whenever you're chronically stressed, that midbrain, the part of the midbrain that produces this dopamine, gets less stimulation and it kind of shuts down. And whenever this dopamine is less in our body, it leads to aggravated conditions such as ADHD, that is attention deficit, or sometimes leading to depression. And research has shown that it also causes Parkinson's. So dopamine in a good way, in a good dose, is actually necessary for our body. And when you have a deficiency of that, you have dis-ease conditions. The second neurotransmitter I want to share is the serotonin. So serotonin is produced by your brain, not only by your brain, but also by your tongue receptors, and also by the neuroendocrinal cells of your pulmonary, that's the pulmonary tissue, that's the lungs. And it's also produced 90% in your gut, that is in your colon. So why they say that the gut is the second brain is because serotonin is actually produced 90% in our gut. And whenever this serotonin is produced, it actually helps us to kind of feel really normal. It's actually a mood stabilizer. So it keeps the fine balance between feeling very, very depressed and feeling very, very anxious. It brings us right into the center by activating your parasympathetic response. So your nervous system either reacts with one branch, which is called the sympathetic nervous system, or it reacts by another branch called parasympathetic nervous system. So whenever we feel more and more stressed, our sympathetic nervous system is activated and overworking for us. And the way that we want to actually calm it down and restore it back to its balance is by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. And serotonin does just that. So whenever there is chronic stress, now serotonin is not produced by the body in a good way. And so our parasympathetic nervous response is not activated and we come into that imbalance. So we are either anxious or we are either depressed, we are never ever stable. And mindfulness is that approach, which actually is a restorative approach that helps us to balance and bring about this parasympathetic nerve response. So it's actually restoring the dopamine and the serotonin levels in your body by stimulating the brain centers. Now, another two hormones that I want to introduce here is the oxytocin, which is the love hormone. And it is also produced by a small gland in our brain. I talked about the endocrine glands. So there's another endocrine gland, which is called as the pituitary gland. And this gland produces oxytocin. So oxytocin is actually called as the love hormone. It's actually produced by lactating females. It's also produced by women who are going to give birth. It actually helps the uterus to kind of, contract. And when active labor is going on, oxytocin levels are very, very high. And that's how the baby is actually born, because of high levels of oxytocin. And it actually also creates that mother-child bond. So the bond that you see in between human beings is because of this oxytocin hormone. So anytime that you have the low level of oxytocin, you will see that you're actually irritable around people and you don't have a good person-to-person approach. So your relationships are largely going to get affected. And that also happens because of chronic stress. Now, the fourth hormone that I'll talk today about is called as the endorphin. I'm sure all of us are familiar with endorphins. This is also another neurotransmitter which is produced by the pituitary gland. And this is actually called the hormone for pain relief. So actually, they say that different methods, restorative methods such as yoga, tai chi, qigong, dancing, swimming, all of these are actually meant to produce this endorphin. So there's an endorphin release from your pituitary. And how this pituitary actually is going to release oxytocin and endorphin, we will see when we come to the section of breathing. So just before we go here to the next slide, are there any questions? If you want, just raise your hand if there are any questions before I move on. Or are we all taking it in? Okay, all righty. So we'll go ahead. So coming to the next slide. So why learn mindfulness? So you heard all about how the stress is actually causing all these dis-ease conditions in your body, and you're not able to actually tone it down. You're not able to get that stress back into, your body back into balance. So here I want to share on the left side, you can see this hamster on a wheel. So each one of us is this hamster on a wheel where we are mindlessly doing things. And most of it comes because of we are just tuned to doing those things just like that. We are always on autopilot, right? From the time that we wake up in the morning, from the time that we are brushing teeth, to preparing breakfast, to driving ourselves to work, or preparing our meals or interacting with people. There are a lot of times when we are very, very mindless. We are not aware of what we are doing. So we are not aware every time of the sensations in our body, the emotions rushing through our brain, or the thoughts that are going on in our mind. And mindfulness actually trains you to actually take that step back and to view yourself, to become that observer, to view exactly what you're doing at this present moment. And when you create that pause, when you create that space, that's exactly where your nervous system gets a chance to switch from the sympathetic response to your parasympathetic response. So that switching actually happens in that moment when you train your mind to focus on being present. So you can see that this hamster is just going in circles. He's running very fast on this wheel. So this wheel is nothing but the circle of life. It's our day-to-day life where we are facing all the stressors. And then he's saying that I'm starting to doubt the efficacy of this particular course of action. He doesn't know where life's taking him, right? We're just facing challenges day in and day out, and we really don't know what's happening to us. there's no solution to it. So what's the solution to it? And that's exactly what Dr. John Kabat-Zinn found out. He found out that the solution to that is being mindful. The being mindful part is when this hamster actually now found a nice little bike. He became a gangster, and now he's actually steering himself. He's actually able to gear and take himself to the places he wants to go to. He wants to go certain places and he's heading there. He's not mindlessly just swinging from one situation to another. So when you become mindful, you take control of your mind and you tell it exactly where to go. You tell it exactly where to be, and then you just step away from there and observe. So once that mind gets that space between, say, two reactions, between two thoughts, your mind, instead of just doing, comes into the state of being. So you are doing things maybe on autopilot or reacting to things. And when you train your mind to come into that space, which we call as pause, which we'll see now, you become mindful. You become suddenly aware. And you go from just doing things into being. And how do you do that? So the next slide, actually, I'm going to share a quote by one of the great yoga practitioners. His name is Nisargadatta Maharaj. And he says that you are not the body, you're not the mind, you are the immensity and infinity of consciousness. So this is a really big quote. And for a long time, I was pondering on it. And still today, I'm still pondering on it, to be honest. And just getting a few glimpses as I do this mindfulness for my own self. And I just wanted to share that with you. That this is a very intangible quote, actually. It seems very grand when you kind of think about it, but have you really experienced that immensity or that infinity of consciousness? And how do you do it? And so I reflected and I thought this mindfulness program is exactly what helps you to tap into it. It trains you literally right from the scratch, right from ground zero as you build yourself up. So let's make it tangible now. So how are we going to make this tangible? We learned about our triggers. We learned that there are unpleasant thoughts, unpleasant situations, in the form of sensations or emotions. At the same time, your triggers can also be pleasant. Sometimes a lot of good things can happen in the form of, you getting promoted, or, your kids achieving certain awards, or you going places, or you hearing some good news from somewhere. So these triggers can also be in the form of pleasant sensations or pleasant emotions. And your mind is constantly in the reactive phase. So it's reacting either to the unpleasant situation or it's reacting to the pleasant situation. But we want to switch it from reacting to responding. We want the mind to respond in a non-judging way. We want it to respond in an accepting way. And we want it to respond in a present moment. We want it to be highly aware of where it is given that moment. And this is done by practicing the pause. So mindfulness program or mindfulness, although it seems very easy, and we can say that, hey, I do meditation, I sit quietly and I listen to my thoughts, but mindfulness goes many, many steps above that, where it teaches us to practice the pause. And we are going to see how to do that. So Dr. John Kabat-Zinn actually gave us the foundation of this mindfulness. I'm sorry. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So Dr. John Kabat-Zinn actually gave us the 9 foundations of mindfulness. And we saw the first, why can I see myself? Oh, okay. So we saw the first foundation today, that we are all, beginners here. We are all going to approach it with the curiosity of a child, as if we are just learning this for the first time. The second foundation that he talked about is like non-judging, not to use any kind of harsh judgment about your own self, about your body, about how your body is able to operate itself, whether you have any physical limitations. in the form of any other, mental, physical health conditions. You're going to really embrace your body or embrace your mind just as it is, without labeling anything, without, discerning it as right and wrong. So the first step is approaching everything with the beginner's mind. And the second approach is going to be by non-judging. You're going to cultivate that attitude of non-judgment. The third is the most, painful thing for everybody, at least for me it is, and that is patience. So not wanting things to immediately happen and, allowing things to flow at its own pace. So one of the most challenging things I found for myself was to cultivate the patience of mindfulness, which was very tough for me. The fourth thing is trust, that you have to trust in your own ability. And unless you don't trust in your ability to do things or ability to do things right, nothing will unfold for you. So you have to believe in your own inner intuition. As you approach the mindfulness for yourself, you have to trust that this process is going to work for you. Then the fifth part of this foundation is acceptance. Acceptance is, once again, approaching it from that corner that things are going to be as they are, without wanting to change it. Just visualizing or seeing things in their own light. So that is accepting things as they are, not wanting them to be in a certain way. That can again be your relationships. That can again be something personal. It can be physical or it can be emotional. So I have shared 5 of these. Would anybody like to kind of reflect on this? Let's make it a little bit interactive, because otherwise it just becomes a very mundane thing where I'm talking a lot. Would anybody like to chip in and kind of share?
It seems that some of these would be very difficult to do as you raise children.
That's very right, Sharon. In what way? Can you give us a little bit of glimpse into what you are trying to say here?
Well, for example, my children are adults now, but when you see an adult child doing something or speaking in such a way that they seem so negative, it's hard not to, as a parent, address that behavior or that sadness or that whatever it is.
That's very true, Sharon. And it's always been because as parents, we are always leaders, right? We come from that corner that we have been leading them, we have been guiding them through our own, we are role models for them. So if your child is kind of, on a path which we can visualize that path has a toxic path or something that's going to give them not so good results, or they're in bad company, then definitely we want to step in, definitely. But sometimes kids have their own way of approaching things. And that's where that mindfulness part is going to take place. That patience is where you need to cultivate that patience, but also trust in your own, I would say, ability of raising them. You already imparted them with the right knowledge. You put in the seed of discerning things from right from wrong right at the beginning. So you have to kind of trust your own intuition that my child will make the right decision, or his approach will also help him, gain ways. So sometimes taking a step back, but I feel that, that patience and trust will play a key role here. This is just my reflection on it. Anybody else wants to like chip in and, talk about these? Because, about mindfulness, unless and until you understand these very powerful 9 foundations of mindfulness, just doing the guided meditation, which I will teach you, will not help you unless and until it really starts trickling down. So please feel free. This is a very safe space. Please reflect on it. Please share from your experience, whatever that, you want to share with this group.
All these things are required when we are not, when we have a conflict with someone, or we do not agree with someone, and things are not going as per our expectations. So this is the time when we have we are not able to let go. We are not able to trust either the situation or the person. We do not want to accept that we have to uh, accept the reality, basically. uh, Sometimes we even do not understand, or we are so much in our own pace that we forget to gratify someone, or the life, basically. So I mean, I cannot pinpoint on one of the things, but definitely there are like it's like a combination of things here.
Thank you so much, Sally. That was a very good reflection. So yes, you're right. Most of the times, it does. We tend to cling on to things. So um, that was the next point, of letting go. So we came up till acceptance. So we talked about the beginner's mind, how we have to cultivate a beginner's mind, a fresh approach to everything that we do. We have to stop judging and, stop classifying things as right and wrong. You have to cultivate that patience, and we have to cultivate that trust also. That trust comes from within. So you have to really, really be in touch with yourself in a very honest way and believe in your intuitions. And then acceptance of what is the situation as is, without wanting to change it, and just viewing it and observing it as it unfolds in front of you. And then non-striving and acceptance are also, they go hand in hand when you're trying to achieve stuff, where you're not trying to kind of gain things in any way, either physically or either mentally. You are trying to just be in that moment. So non-striving is where acceptance and non-striving go hand in hand. I would say they are like two sides of the same coin. And then you also, Sally, right now mentioned about letting go. So letting go is when you tenaciously kind of stick to your own point of view, or you kind of stick to, your own personal opinions of things, or sometimes there is a familiarity of things, and it's very tough to actually let go at that time. If, certain things were going for you that way, or you're even used to companionship of somebody, to kind of let go, to actually accept that, to letting go is where you create that safe space that it's no longer going to hurt you, or it's no longer going to affect you and stress you out in that way. So letting go is where you are no longer clinging on to either your thoughts, clinging on to your ideologies, or clinging on to literally toxic relationships sometimes. Sometimes just letting them go and finding that safe space for yourself is the best way out. But how to do it is how mindfulness is going to teach you. Then we are going to come to the last two foundation points, which is generosity and gratitude. So generosity is not only in a physical form. So generosity can be of thoughts also, like Sharon mentioned right now that, sometimes the way kids are doing their things, or the way kids are behaving or expressing their opinions on things, can also be hurtful. It can also be stressful at that point of time. So the generosity is where you allow the person to be themselves. You create that space of acceptance, and you generously appreciate them, their efforts, just as much as, you shower sometimes people with material things, like we would, if somebody did something for us, we would shower them with gifts. But this is the generosity of thoughts, where you actually appreciate that person from where he or she is coming from, and appreciate their efforts. So you show that generosity of actions as well, and thoughts towards other people in your relationships. And that obviously is, first for yourself. So generosity towards your own self in that way. And then the last point is of gratitude, obviously acknowledging everything that's coming to you in abundance. It might be in the form of material wealth, but it also can be in the form of, good relationships, good learnings, good teachings. Like in this class, you're learning something higher than what you would normally learn, say, in a school or in a other degree certificate. This is a school of life. So mindfulness and yoga is nothing but a school of life, and it's actually giving us approaches of how to lead life, in that balance, and how to really be, I would not say stress-free, But taking that approach, that stress is there, and I'm there, and I'm observing my stress. And while observing that stress itself, we become stress-free because we are in that small space called pause. So between two thoughts, we are taking that small step back. And when you're taking that step back, the breath is going to change and the chemical reactions in your brain is going to change. And this is literally proven. So people have proven by doing a lot of research on mindfulness meditation, where they have done the CT scan of the brain, they have done the MRI of the brain, while the certain monks, Buddhist monks who have been meditating, they have done all of these kind of researches in the University of Copenhagen, and they found out that literally it is actually changing the brain chemistry. It's actually changing the hormones that we talked about. So most of the hormones that are produced by your pituitary or in the midbrain, they actually are stimulated to create good hormones, the happy hormones that we talked about, thereby also, kind of destimulating your sympathetic response, which is your stress response. So when you kind of suppress and lower your stress response in the form of bad hormones, and they get a bad rap because, they are causing stress to our body. And these are nothing but the adrenaline and the cortisol. So through your conscious breathing, through your conscious meditation, you can actually affect the brain parts, the brain receptors, or the brain endocrine glands. And that's the way in which you're going to actually bring your body back into balance. So every time that you're feeling stress, you're going to take that pause. You're going to take that breath meditation to work. You're going to practice it in your school, maybe sitting at your desk while the kids are screaming in front of you. Nobody's going to know, but you are going to be actually practicing your breath meditation. And that's how you're going to bring yourself back into balance. Or even when you're driving, if there are certain things, at the office that you're going to face and you have to give a presentation or a meeting and it's really stressing you out, you are going to practice your 1 minute pause. And when you start practicing these mindful meditations in small formats throughout the day, you will see that maybe in a month's time, you get a better handle on dealing with your stress. Maybe you are super stressed. Maybe you are in that chronic stress phase. I showed you those 3 graphs that you are in a positive stress, you're in a tolerable stress, and then you're in a toxic stress. So you slowly bring yourself, you start healing yourself from the chronic or the toxic stress levels, and you come into the more positive stress levels where you are able to switch. You're able to switch your sympathetic to your parasympathetic nervous system. So you're able to really stimulate your brain by practicing your conscious breathing. All right, where were we? All right, let's take a pause. So this is a moment, once again, I'm going to invite you to come back to your chairs. Bring your feet on the floor. Keep your feet about shoulder width distance. Your thighs are parallel to the ground. Move your sit bones. Lift up your chest, dropping your shoulders down. Keep your hands, palms open on your thighs. Relax your face. Unlock your jaw. Soften the muscles around your eyes. Focus at the top of your head, your crown. In your mind's eye, visualize a beautiful violet light sitting right on top of your crown. As you breathe in, this crown slowly opens and the violet light enters into the crown of your head, moving down into your forehead, your right eye, your left eye, your nose, the space inside your mouth, your right ear, left ear, inside your throat, the back of your neck, the back of your head, moving into your shoulders. Visualize the violet light resting in your right shoulder now. Visualize it slowly warming up your right shoulder in a good way. Feel the warmth radiating into your right arm, right elbow, the wrist of your right hand, the palm of your right hand, the fingertips of your right hand. Feel this violet light pulsating in the palm of your right hand. Take a deep inhale through your nose and a soft exhale through your mouth as you relax your right side of the body completely. Shift your awareness into your left shoulder now, keeping your eyes closed. Visualize the violet light sitting in the left shoulder, warming up the left shoulder now. The warmth is slowly radiating into the left arm, left elbow, left wrist, the palm of the left hand, the fingertips of the left hand. Your entire left arm and hand has a gentle warmthness and the violet light. Visualize your back body now. Focus on the upper back. The violet light is entering there. Focus on the mid back. Visualize the violet light there. Focus on the lower back, the right buttock and the left buttock, and the tailbone. Your entire back body and the right and the left buttock are flooded with this gentle warm light. Shift your awareness into your chest at your heart center. Shift your awareness into your stomach, your navel center, right hip and the left hip. Your entire front body is flooded with this warm, delicious violet light. Focus on the right leg now, right thigh, right knee, right ankle, the sole of your right foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth. Visualize all the 5 toes of your right foot. Your entire right leg is filled with this gentle warm light. Focus on the left side now. Left thigh, left knee, left ankle, the big toe of your left foot, second toe, third toe, fourth, and the fifth. All the 5 toes of your left foot. Focus on the sole of your left foot. In your mind's eye, visualize the same warm golden light, white light, or violet light filling up your left leg. Visualize your entire body now, from the top of your head to the base of your feet, filled with this gentle, warm, violet light. Feel the light in the palms of both your hands, at your fingertips. As you breathe in, this light expands. As you breathe out, it softens. Continue this breathing for a few more minutes. At this time, slowly pay attention to any sensations that might stand out in your body. They can be pleasant sensations in the form of warmth, expansion, lightness, subtle vibrations, or they can be unpleasant, some discomfort, contraction, pain, sudden twitching, or slight coldness. Certain area might be colder than the other. As you feel this discomfort, Check your mind now. What's happening to the mind? What thoughts are racing right now? Is your mind somewhere else? Is your mind tired of the meditation? Is your mind wondering what's going to happen next? Or is your mind stuck somewhere of what happened yesterday? Or the day before? Or a few years back? Wherever you find your mind to be, gently guide it back and try to anchor it. So we are going to use the anchor of the violet light in the palms of our hand. So bring your attention here to the right palm and the left palm of both your hands. Every time your mind tries to wander somewhere, thinking new thoughts, gently bring it to the palms of your hands and see how you're doing. Take another deep inhale through your nose and a soft exhale through your mouth. Joining your hands at the heart center, rub your palms together. Place your hands on your eyes, forehead and cheeks. Allow your face to feel the warmth. And once you feel ready, slowly move your hands away from your face and smile. So let's do a quick reflection before we move ahead. How is everybody feeling now? Anybody wants to share their experience, something new, something different, or something similar that you have done? Anybody wants to go? Please feel free to share. This is an interactive class, so it doesn't become boring. Nobody is going to judge you because we are mindful people. So, we are accepting each other, whatever, even if it's a small, tiny thing that you experience right now, and you feel that this is not of any consequence, but feel free to share it.
My mind kept wandering away. I couldn't focus on your instructions.
Thank you, Asha. Thank you so much for sharing this. It takes a lot of, a lot of mental strength to even accept that, my mind was busy. I was actually not following anything that you said. That's so true. And that's so true for so many of us, as we are coming into this mindfulness meditation, that the mind is simply not geared or engineered that way. It just knows how to step from one thing to another. But the thing is that we are going to keep on practicing this. So mindfulness sounds easy, but is not easy. And the only thing is to do more. So every day make a habit to practice this meditation for at least 30 seconds is what I say, 30 seconds practice. And then you can divide your day into many 30-second practices. So throughout the day, right from the morning till you go to sleep, every time you find yourself really super exhausted or stressed, you know that the mind has been overthinking and overdoing things, and you want to take that pause and you want to slow it down and you want to bring it to the observer's seat and, just observe what's going on with the body, what's going on with the mind, what's going on with the emotions, what's going on with the breath. So anybody else wants to go?
Hi, I felt some pain in the body, but still I felt very calm. So I'm peaceful.
Thank you. How do you pronounce your name? Is it Inchara?
Inchara, right.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's so true. And that's exactly what mindfulness is teaching us, that sometimes we have both pleasant and unpleasant sensations, or pleasant and unpleasant thoughts. It's never that there's only one thing going on in our mind. Our mind can be, it's like a garbage pit. There's so many things there, literally. It's like everything, we just throw it there and it's just stinking and sitting there and we don't take care of it. And that's what causes chronic stress. And that's why we feel super stressed out, because we are not doing good housekeeping. We are not clearing that material out out of our thought process, out of our mind. But mindfulness is just not housekeeping. It's just not clearing that. It's also about cultivating that super high awareness. So initially, I quoted Nisargadatta Maharaj, who said, "You're not the body, you're not the mind, then who exactly are you? Who exactly are we?" So it's this higher consciousness that we're actually tapping into. We are actually activating that higher consciousness that is able to observe everything. That's our real true essence. That's true yoga. Yoga is when you actually experience that. When you experience, like she said, I was able to feel calm. And that's a great start, my friend, because you were able to tap into that. And in spite of everything unpleasant going on within you, you're able to feel that stable, steady space for yourself. And that's a good success, I would say. Anybody else before we move on? All right. So let's see where we are right now. Okay, so we are about 8:30. So let's do a little bit of yoga. So quickly, just summarizing the benefits of mindfulness. We are trying to leave the past where it belongs. So whenever we are clinging on to the past, we are not letting go. We are in a depressive phase of our mind. And obviously, that's not a good sensation for anybody, not for us, not for people around us. And the second thing is when you cannot control the future. So when your mind is racing forward too much, we have the anxious mind, and that's not good either, because nobody likes to be around anxious people. We are constantly in that phase of like, blah, blah, blah. Something like that is happening to us, not able to find stable ground. So mindfulness helps us to leave the past where it is. So we reduce our depression, and we cannot control the future. So we control our anxious thoughts, and we treat the present like a gift. So we literally appreciate everything that we are going through. What we talked about, gratitude, which is one of the foundation of mindfulness. And then obviously quietening the mental chatter, like so many things, like somebody said right now, I think Ashaji said, I couldn't follow anything, because the mind was full of its own talk, its own chatter. It was constantly going from one place to another, not allowing you even a moment's rest. And then, of course, being your best self. Like I said, the higher consciousness, that's our true essence. That's what we get to experience when we actually constantly keep on practicing this mindfulness, cultivating the power of gratitude, and kind of pushing us away from negativity. So sometimes we find ourselves in this flux of negative thoughts that nothing is going to work for me, or we see negative in every single thing. We see it in ourselves, we see it in people, we see negativity in situations. Again, that causes us a lot of stress. So it's like there's no point of dwelling on the negativity, because we said that we are going to be non-striving. We are not going to try to achieve something in our life, just facing the thing as is, in that calmness of your mind. And obviously facing your struggles, it gives us a lot of mental strength, because when you come into that sympathetic nervous response where your brain centers are activated and your happy hormones are flooding your system, you obviously get that confidence and the wisdom to face your struggles. When your bad hormones are activated, when there's a lot of cortisol in your body, when there's a lot of adrenaline in your body, you're super stressed. All your organs are facing the stress. Your kidneys, your liver, your heart, all of them are facing that chronic stress. But when the happy hormones are there in your body, then all the organs in your body are homeostasis. That is, they're in a good balance. There are good chemical reactions the way it's supposed to be. That's what's happening. All right, so we have come to the part where we are going to do a little bit of movement. So we did like 2 meditations. We learned a lot today about our own body, about the way the brain and the nervous system responds, and how the mind takes it, and how the mind reacts back through the body, causing that chronic stress, pushing us into imbalance. So let us come onto our chairs. I'm going to move my chair back. Let me know if you can see me. I'm just moving my chair here, so I hope my chair is visible. I hope so. All right. Let's come into a seated posture. Is my voice audible? Can somebody just raise their hand and let me know if my...
It is. It is.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So let's come into a seated posture in your chair. If you're using a chair or you're sitting on a couch or a bed, you want to pay attention to your feet. So your toes are pointing forward. Lift all your 10 toes, spread your toes, and slowly drop them down to the floor. Release your heels down. Your thighs are parallel to the ground. Put your hands on your hips and just check how your hips are. Are you leaning forward or are you leaning back? You want to bring yourself somewhere in between. So that's going to be your neutral spine. So focus on the lowest part of your spine, which is your tailbone, and kind of gently doing a little bit of a scooping action at the same time, softening your stomach and lifting your heart up. So you're going to roll your hips back, coming into a neutral hip, and then lifting your chest, lengthening your back body, rolling your shoulders up to your ears, pushing them back and drawing them down. And then your hands can rest on your thighs. Your ears are sitting on top of your shoulders. So if your chin is kind of jutting out, glide it back, and then lengthen the back of your neck. Focus on the crown. So your crown is kind of trying to reach towards the ceiling, and your feet are grounding you towards the floor. Lengthening your back body. Notice any sensations you might feel. Once again, any pleasant sensations from the top of your crown to the base of your feet. And from here, you're going to take your palms at the heart center and you're going to rub them till you feel like a warmth in your palms. Once you start feeling the warmth in your palms, slowly separate out your palms as if you're holding like an energy ball. From here, take a deep inhale. You're going to carry this energy ball over your head, stretching your arms up. Turn your palms out, slowly release. Bring your palms parallel, your arms parallel to the floor. As you exhale, your hands come back on your knees. So very slowly. So you are being very, very mindful for every single action that you're doing. You're not just doing it on autopilot. Once again, creating that ball of energy, rubbing your palms, separating them out. Inhale, lift that ball of energy up. Taking a good stretch here. Inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to stretch your right leg in the front, flex your toes. And as you exhale, slowly release your palms down, bring your arms back, release your right foot down. Inhale. Take your ball of energy, slowly lift it over your head. Inhale. Stretching your sides, keeping your head between your arms. And as you exhale, stretch your left leg, kick your foot out, flex your toes, sitting tall. And exhale, slowly release. Once again, inhale. Together, kick your right foot out, extend your arms up. And from here, you're going to release your left arm to the left side and turn your neck and look at the palm of your left hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, lift your left arm up. Release your right foot down. Inhale, kick your left leg out. Release your right arm to the right side. Look at the palm of your hand. Keep on breathing. Inhale, lengthening your back. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, lift your arm up. Slowly release your left foot down. Inhale, and as you exhale, release your palms down and slowly push your palms towards the back wall. Lift your chest, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift your chin up. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring your head up, Turn your palms towards the front wall and curve your back. Stomach goes in as if you're hugging a ball of energy in the front. Chin goes to your chest. Inhale, head lifts up, sit tall, turn the palms out, push back towards the wall, extend your arms, squeeze the shoulder blades, open up your chest, inhale. And as you exhale, chin goes to the chest, palms come to the front, hug that ball of energy with your arms. Stomach goes in, round your back. Once again, inhale, sit tall, chin goes up, hands go to the back wall, squeeze your shoulder blades, inhale, and as you exhale, chin to chest, arms come to the front, round the back, exhale. And inhale, sit tall. From here, you're going to lift your right knee, bring the right ankle on top of your left thigh, slowly lift your shin bone up, rocking it from side to side. And then slowly hug your shin bone towards your chest, creating that soft stretch in your right hip and right buttock. Keep on breathing. As you mold your body into different postures, see how your thoughts are. Where is your mind jumping to? Take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to cross your right knee on top of your left thigh. So from here, scoop your arms to the front. Take your left elbow, place it inside your right elbow, and then wrap your arms around. And then lift your elbows together. Sit tall and straight. 5 breaths here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly unwrap your arms. Slowly release your arms down. Unwrap your leg. Inhale, left knee comes up. Cross your ankle on top of your thigh. And then using your hands, lift your ankle and your knee up. Inhale up. And then rock your shin bone from side to side. Relax your face. See how your breath is. And then bring your shin bone close to your chest. Sit tall. Few breaths here. Once again, scan your mind. See where your thoughts are. What are the sensations in your left hip and left buttock? If there is any pain, if there is any kind of discomfort, you don't want to feel pain, obviously. And if you are feeling intense pain, you want to come out of that posture very slowly. So now begin to drape your left leg on top of your right thigh. Sit tall, scoop your arms to the front. Take your right elbow, place it inside the left, wrap your arms around. Slowly lift your elbows up. Sit tall, keep on breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release your elbows down. Unwrap your arms and exhale. Unwrap your leg and sit tall. Walk your feet away from each other very slowly. Pay attention to your left thigh. Turn your left toes to the left side and begin to stretch your right leg. And now turn your toes so that your toes are pointing to the front wall. So left toes pointing to the left side, right toes are pointing to the front. Your sit bones are grounding you into the chair. Shoulders are on top of your hips. Back is long and straight, and smile. Once again, bring your ball of energy here. Inhale, lift your arms up very slowly and mindfully. Turn your palms out. Exhale, bring your arms parallel to the floor. And then look over your left shoulder. Keep on breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend your left elbow. Place it on your left thigh. Palm is turned up. Turn your right palm up. Look at your right palm. Slowly follow its path as you raise your arm up above your head. Soft inhale and exhale. Keep on breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now begin to come into a lateral bend. So you're going to lean to the left side, arm comes above your ear. Your gaze can be down, or you can look to the front, or you can look up to your hand, depending on how your neck is today. Keep on breathing. Once again, see how this sensation is in your right side of your hip, right side of your body, and where your mind is traveling to. So these are all mindful postures, not doing them on autopilot, not just simply doing them because you are in a yoga class. Inhale, slowly lift and come up. Arm comes parallel to the floor, palms facing down. Exhale. Right hand goes on the right thigh. Lift your left arm up. Look at your left hand, the left palm of your hand. Coming into a reverse warrior. Keep on breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, lift up. Palms come down, parallel, arms are parallel to the floor, and exhale. From here, you're going to turn your right toes to the right side, stretch your left leg, and the left toes are going to point to the front. So the heel and the foot is resting on the mat. Once again, stack your shoulders on top of your hips. Sit bones are rooting you into the chair. Feet are pressing into the floor. Smile. Take your ball of energy. Inhale, arms go up. And as you exhale, turn the palms out. Bring your arms parallel to the floor. And look over your right shoulder as you exhale. Keep on breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend your right elbow, place it on your right thigh, palm turn up. Turn your left palm up. Look at your left palm. Inhale. Follow your arm as it goes up. And breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming into a side stretch. Lean to the right side. Bring your arm over your right ear. You can look to the front, or you can look down to the floor, depending upon how your neck feels. Keep on breathing. Deep breaths. Breathe into your back body. Breathe into the side body. With a big inhale, slowly come up. Raise your arm up. Bring both your arms parallel to the floor, palms turn down. Left arm comes on the left thigh. Turn the right palm up and reverse. Bend to the left side. Keep on breathing. See how you feel. Once again, are you rushing? Are you trying to conform into a shape? What's going on? The sensation that might come up as you do this reverse warrior. With a big inhale, slowly come up. Palms turn down. Arms go down. Hands in namaste. Walk both your feet in and then toes turned out. So from here, just take a moment, see how you're feeling. If any of the postures that we did that kind of create any unpleasant feeling inside you? Was there one particular asana that you did not like, or one particular asana that you liked a lot, or you were neutral to everything that was happening? From here, inhale, float your arms to the front, palms facing down. And from here, you're going to reach to the front. And then you're going to fold forward through your hips. Feel a good stretch in your lower back. Slowly folding forward. Maybe today, this is your range of motion. This is where you are. Bend your elbows, hold your elbows and stay here. If you're able to go down a little bit more, you know your body more than me, so I'll leave it to your discretion. If you find the floor, press your palms, spread your fingers, keep your elbows soft, and bring your head down between your arms. Keep on breathing. But if you're here today, slightly higher up, keep on breathing into your back body. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale. Slowly lift up. Lift your head up. Bring your body upright. Float your arms up. Hands in Namaste. Slowly walk your feet back to where we started in our seated mountain pose, Tadasana, seated Tadasana. Feet are parallel, shoulder width distance. Thighs are parallel to the floor. Rest your hands on your thighs. Shoulders are on top of your hips. Back is straight. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and push them down. Glide your chin back. Closing your eyes. Focus on your breath. Once again, see the quality of your thoughts, where your mind is floating. Wherever it is, bring it to the tip of your nose. So we are going to do a breath meditation. We are going to breathe to the count of 4. We are going to practice the pause to the count of 2. Breathe out to the count of 4. And we are going to again hold the breath to the count of 6. So our count numbers are going to be 4, 2, 4, and 6. Let's try that today. Breathing in 4, breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2. Exhale 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold your breath 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Inhale 2, 3, 4, and hold 1, 2. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Continue this breathing at your own pace now for a few more rounds. You're breathing in to the count of 4, pausing your breath to the count of 2, exhaling to the count of 4, and again holding your breath to the count of 6. See how you're feeling. Once you come to the last round of breath, 4, 2, 4, and 6, you're going to take your hands again at the heart center, rub your palms together, create that warmth, place them on your eyes. Allow the forehead, eyes, and your cheeks to receive that warmth. Slowly move your hands away from your face, and you're going to smile. So we did a little bit of embodiment here. We did a little bit of stretching practice, some yoga postures. So you can see that classically we can design and build any kind of yoga postures. They can be fast and active, and we went slow for a purpose because our whole goal was to really become very, very mindful and not do anything on autopilot. So even vinyas practice requires a lot of mindfulness, but I did a little chair practice today because we have all levels of participants. So you can actually incorporate any kind of embodiment practice that you want, a somatic movement that you want to at this point. moving from here, we also did a breath meditation. I wanted to share something from an ancient yogic text called Patanjali Sutras, and we read and share Patanjali a lot when we are doing yoga. So this is from the second chapter, which is the Samadhi Pad, and the 50th and the 51st sutra really are teaching us a lot about the quality of our breath and what mindfulness is all about. So I'm not going to read the Sanskrit part, or I could. Bhyantar stambha vritti desha kala sankhya bhi paridrushto dirgha sukshma. So it means that the bhaya antar, that means bhaya means the external and the internal breath, when it is totally along the total restrainment of the breath. So what we did today, the inhale and the exhale and the total restraint, that is the pause, the kumbhak that we did today, that can get regulated by place, time, and numbers. So we can play with the numbers, we can play with the length of that breath, and that actually stabilizes the breath. It helps the breath to become long and subtle. Now, why are we doing this? The reason that we are doing is because the nostrils in our human body are classically, they are actually, the fibers of our nostril are actually reaching deep inside of our limbic brain. And that is where our hypothalamus gland sits. So remember, I told you about the hypothalamus, the endocrine glands, and this is the master gland that creates the stress hormones. It stimulates the pituitary, and the pituitary stimulates the kidneys, which have the adrenal cortex, and they release the stress hormones called as adrenaline and cortisol. And this actually chronically creates stress conditions in our body. So when we actually do pranayam, the end passage of our nostril is connected to your hypothalamus. So when you're stimulating it with the prana, with the energy, with the breathing, it stimulates the hypothalamus in a good way, and it actually switches off that stress response. So less and less cortisol and adrenaline is released by the body till it comes into a good balance and releases the happy hormones. So that's the reason why we play with the holding of the breath. We play with its number. So we do a larger amount of exhales, longer prolonged exhales. We do shorter inhales. So all these have been classically studied by many, many yoga practitioners since ancient times. So yoga, you know, is a science which is like more than 5,000 years old. And now recently, with recent research, people are actually showing the benefits of pranayam on the nervous system. And the way it classically works is because it destimulates your hypothalamus gland and it tones it down. So whatever stress that you are feeling in the form of this response, it kind of dilutes it down. And that's why you feel better after you do pranayam, but consciously. So once again, the breathing has to be in a very conscious manner. So we did this breath awareness meditation. We are going to do one more breath meditation over here. We are going to sit tall as we were sitting here, feet flat on the floor, thighs parallel to the ground. Sit bones are resting on the chair, shoulders aligned on top of your hips, back is straight, shoulder blades are squeezing together. Release your shoulders down. Sides of the neck are long. Unlock your jaw, glide the chin back, soften the muscles in your face. Hands are resting on your thighs. And we are going to do the alternate nostril breathing without closing our right and left nostril. So this is a very mindful practice because you have to train your mind to literally dive into the right and the left nostril. Let us begin with the left nostril today. We are going to do inhale and exhale by visualizing our left nostril. Imagine that there is a straw there. And you're going to breathe consciously through only the left nostril. Bring all your awareness and attention to that breath in the left side of your nose. Let's begin. Let's do 5 such breaths. Let's start. Slowly switch your awareness now into the right side of your nose. Imagine that there is a straw sitting inside the right side, And you're going to consciously breathe only through the right side without touching your nose. When you shift your attention, you will see that the energy flow also switches. Let's begin. Now bring your awareness into both your nostrils, the right as well the left. We will switch now, switching from the right and the left. Breathing in through the left, breathing out through the right, and then alternating, breathing in through the right and breathing out through the left. Again, it's a conscious switching from the right to the left. We are not going to touch or hold the nose with our fingers. We will do 10 such rounds. Let's begin at our own pace. Anytime that you feel that the mind is wandering, try to notice all the sounds around you. As you complete this breath, once again, join your hands at the heart center, rub your palms. Place your hands on your cheeks, forehead, and eyes. Feel the warmth of your palms on your face. And as you move your hands away, smile. So please reflect on this before we go into our guided relaxation as we end our session. Any reflections? Anybody felt anything or didn't feel anything? Whatever.
I always think it's just amazing that this works. That you can actually guide your breath mentally.
That's so true. That's so true, Sharon. It's very tough, but I think if you train your mind, it can do amazing things for us.
What was it you said at the beginning where your focus goes, the energy flows? How was that? Is that right?
Yeah. Your energy always flows to where your attention goes. So your attention, wherever you focus on, say, the tip of your nose, your energy is going to start flowing over there. So if your attention is on some thoughts that are bothering you, then you're going to feel drained because your energy is going to go exactly there. It's like your battery is going to get drained very fast, right? And so all our yoga and mindfulness practices are restorative because we are kind of charging our batteries, just like we charge our mobile phones. So if you don't charge it properly, then you're going to feel drained and you're going to feel more stressed. So these are very simple practices, though they feel very simple, they are very, very challenging in themselves. As you see that even simple breathing is not easy. Like if you train your brain to kind of do that kind of breath retention, a lot of magic is going to take place because literally you are changing the biochemistry of your brain. You're changing some neurotransmitters in your brain. You're stimulating the good ones. You are destimulating the ones that are causing this havoc in your body, which is experienced by us as stress. So these are very simple habits that we can cultivate. Obviously, 2 hours is a very short time to kind of explain everything. There's a lot more. And 2 hours is still a short time to experience it because the first experience of a mindfulness program may not give you the result that you want or you're seeking, but it's kind of a guiding light. It kind of shows you the way. It tells you what to work on. So today I want you to take home this lesson that whenever you're feeling that super stress, I want you to practice the pause and I want you to drop the anchor in form of your breath. So practice the pause and drop the anchor of your breath. Practice the retention of your breath. Do the alternate nostril breathing without touching your nose. So consciously bring your awareness to either of your nostrils and do that breathing. And this is very simple because you can do it anywhere. Nobody has to know that you're doing this kind of breathing. it's very invisible. So nobody knows you're practicing mindfulness in a group of people. So even if you're a group of people where you feel super stressed, you can carry your mindfulness with you. And that's the power of this program. So if anybody has any, I'm sorry, Sharon. I'm sorry. Did somebody say something? Okay, if anybody has any questions, I think nobody does. We are going to go to the mat and we are going to practice a guided meditation, a guided relaxation. So make yourself comfortable. Use a blanket if you need to. Use pillows. Use something if you have like an eye pillow to cover your eyes. So this is your time to completely relax. Get as comfortable as possible. So I'm just taking like literally like a 10-minute, 10-second break. I'm just going to drink some water and come back. Smitaji, I hope I can utilize the initial 5 minutes that we waited till people joined. Is it okay if I take the meditation until 9:10?
Yeah, Shreelekha ji, it's totally fine.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are going to end our session today with a guided relaxation. So please feel free to settle yourself. If you're even using a chair, you can use like a pillow for your lumbar back. You can use something for your shoulders if you need to. If you're on the floor, you can use maybe a towel for the back of your neck. You can use a pillow for your knees to support them. And obviously you can cover yourself with a blanket, get cozy. Use something to cover your eyes if you need to go into those deeper restful states. Let's begin. As you settle yourself, once again, just scan your entire body. See how you're feeling at the end of this session now. Make any fine adjustments that you need to so that you can come into a position of stillness. Begin to focus at the base of your feet. Focus on your ankles. Begin to soften the muscles in your calf muscles and your knee joints. Focus on your thighs. Focus on the right and the left buttock. Begin to make the lower half of your body super heavy. Letting go the weight of your right leg into the floor. Letting go the weight of your left leg into the floor. Focus on your lower back now. Check if you are holding any tension there. Focus on your upper back and shoulders. Scan for any tension there. Releasing the weight of your entire back body into the mat or the bed or the floor. Turn your palms up towards the sky. Your arms are slightly away from your body. Your feet are also kind of slightly away from each other if you feel comfortable that way. Allow your right arm to start becoming very heavy, starting with the shoulders, upper arm, forearm, the wrist and the right hand. Let go, let go, let go the weight into the floor. Focus on the left arm now, starting with the left shoulder, upper arm, forearm, left wrist, the left hand, letting go the weight of your entire left arm into the floor. Feel the back of your head. Soften the muscles around your eyes, the space between your eyebrows. Lift your eyebrows up towards the scalp, and then soften your eyebrows. Drop your eyes slightly deeper into the eye sockets. Take a deep inhale through your nose and a soft exhale through your mouth. As you breathe out, relax your lips. Relax the right ear. Relax the left ear. Focus on your chin and the lower jaw. Part your teeth slightly and relax the entire lower jaw. Feel the space inside your mouth and any taste or sensation that is present there today. Observe your entire body becoming very heavy now. With each exhale, allow your body to become heavier. Until you feel only the boundaries of your body. Focusing on your breath at the tip of your nose. Remembering the alternate nostril breathing that we just practiced. We are going to practice that once again without touching the nose. Focusing on the left nostril, taking a deep breath in through the left. Hold the breath. Exhale the breath through the right nostril. Breathe in through the right. Hold the breath. Exhale the breath through the left. Let's continue to the count of 30 in your mind. Breathing in left. Hold. Breathing out right. And continue. And as you are practicing this alternate nostril breathing, try to tune into all the sounds that you can hear around you. Sounds that are the farthest, outside the room that you're in, and sounds that are the closest to where you are. And as your breathing is continuing, switch your awareness now to your mind. See where it is. Is it engaged in the breath? Or is it engaged somewhere else? Let's give your mind a task to do. Focus on your belly button. As you breathe in, observe your stomach slowly expanding. And as you exhale, observe your stomach muscles relaxing. Engage the mind in the breath. Use it like an anchor. Practice the pause between your inhales and your exhales. If your mind is still super busy, after pausing the breath, after observing the stomach expand and relax, try to bring your mind to the base of your feet. Focus on the right big toe. Focus on the left big toe. Focus on all the toes of both your feet. Allow your mind to rest now at the top of your head. Check if there are any sensations at the crown of your head. If you have any pulsating feeling, any vibrations. As you engage your senses, try to notice any colors behind your closed eyelids. Once again, allowing the body to remain very still and very heavy, letting go of any muscle contraction, relaxing the muscles consciously, engaging the mind in the breath consciously. One of the foundations of our mindfulness was letting go. And we actually practice letting go every day without noticing it. And we do it in the form of our breath. The breath that we take in, our inhale, is the air, is that energy, the prana. We let go that energy, that prana, with our exhale. Unless we let go, our next breath does not come in. So engage in that letting go consciously now. Follow that with your thoughts. In your mind's eye, visualize a tree of your choice. If you visualize a maple tree, visualize the leaf of a maple tree. And visualize a beautiful flowing river. See the water sparkling and flowing gently. And dive into your mind field of thoughts. Every time a thought comes, take your thought, place it on the leaf of that tree, and float that leaf on the river. Watch your thought float away on that leaf, happily bobbing on the surface, far away from you. Whatever the intensity of thoughts or the number of thoughts, those many leaves you will see floating on the river. As your thoughts calm down, the number of leaves on the river will reduce too. Once again, if your mind has wandered off, bring it to the base of your feet. Become aware of your 10 toes. Become aware of the top of your head. Become aware of the palms of your hand and your fingertips. Experience your whole body breathing now. Feel the breath at the palms of your hand. Feel the breath at the top of your head. Feel the breath at the base of your feet. Letting go of any unwanted thoughts. Staying here as an observer of the physical sensations of your breath and of your thoughts. Feeling that spaciousness in your forehead between your eyebrows. Feeling that spaciousness in your chest. Feel that spaciousness in your pelvis, in your lower belly. Feel the spaciousness in your back body. Allow your body to become very light now. Both your arms, legs, stomach, chest, back, and your entire head is as light as a feather. Feel like a feather placed on a very soft bed. Keep on breathing through all the corners of your body. Keep on feeling that expansion in different areas of your body. Thoughts may come, pleasant, unpleasant. Observe them, pay attention, non-judgmentally. Staying aware in the moment is mindfulness. Mindfully attend to your body, to your mind, and to your breath. With our next breath, we will slowly start coming back to this room. Begin to exhale longer than your inhale. Breathe in to the count of 4. Breathe out to the count of 6. Breathing in 4. Deep inhale, prolonged exhale. Breathe out to the count of 6. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's pause the breath between the inhale and the exhale. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. 1, 2. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, and pause. 1, 2. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll add another hold or a pause at the end of our exhale now. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, and pause. 1, 2, exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and pause. 1, 2. Continue. 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold your breath. 1, 2. So continue this for another few rounds. Inhaling deeply, holding the breath, exhaling longer, holding the breath. And now come back to your normal breath. Just check the quality of your thoughts now. Try to see if the mind is still busy as it was before we started this relaxation. Begin to wiggle your toes. Bring the awareness into your legs, the back body. Bring your awareness into the palms of both your hand and your fingertips. Be aware of the shoulders and the side of your neck. Become aware of your eyes, nose, and lips. Be aware of your whole body now. Once you feel ready, slightly bend your knees, lift your feet, and take your knees towards your chest. You can hold your knees or hug your knees and rock from side to side, massaging your back. And once you feel ready, with the knees bent, roll on to your left side. Once you feel ready, slowly push yourself into a seated posture if you're on the mat. Or if you're sitting on the chair, just become aware of your whole body. Join your hands in a namaste, thumbs touching the sternum, fingers away from the chest. Tip your chin down towards your fingers. Let us say our closing prayer. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be free. May all beings be happy. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. I wish you peace, peace, and eternal peace. Namaste.
It is so relaxing and so refreshing, Shreelekha ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Smita. Thank you so much. I hope everybody was able to understand what I was saying. I hope it was not very boring. If there are any questions, I have like a couple minutes if anybody wants to ask anything.
No, it was a very nice session. Shreelekha ji, thank you very much. And yeah, it was a little challenging. Like my mind was wandering while the meditation was going on, but I was with your guidance. I was trying to bring it back into into the session, into the mindfulness. But I think it will take some practice and effort, and then we can master it. But it was very nice. Thank you.
Yes, you're very right, Smita. These are very challenging things because the mind is nobody's master.
Yeah.
All the practices of yoga is to tame and master the mind. And usually, we can do it through mantra chanting. So we can do it through, practicing really religiously that way with a good yoga practice. Physical practice is one thing that people know about yoga.
Yeah.
Diving deeper into more subtle and finer practices of yoga is where mindfulness plays a large part. And then, you can train it to do the meditation too. And mantra chanting is also very powerful, a way to kind of train the mind and to make it more pure, I would say, for higher practices of meditation. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope it benefits you. I hope that you keep on practicing small pockets of meditation throughout the day. You keep on watching your breath and you keep on watching your thoughts. So mind, body, breath, if you keep on watching it, you will see that you're able to harness the power of your mind and you're able to reduce your stress levels in that way.
I really like the conscious without touching your hands on the nose, and then making your mind being aware of from which nostril you're breathing in and out. I think that is a very nice way of bringing your mind, it's a kind of meditation because you're focusing only on your breath at that.
Yes, that's a very powerful form of mindful conscious breathing, because now without any props, like without any physical form, we are telling the mind to do something, because most of the time the mind likes to latch on to heavier objects, right? Because if you're holding your hand, like even in a namaste, one hand touching the other, that sensation is there. But here there is no sensation, there is no touch, there's no physical touch. So that way the mind really gets trained to do something we want it to do. And we don't follow it, it follows us, the higher intention. Yeah. Thank you so much. Anybody has anything to say? I think I'm getting a lot of messages here. Okay. I'll just respond to everybody.
Thank you.
Any questions from anyone for Shreelekha ji? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Or if you have any things to tell her, just feel free. We have
somebody saying they're unable to mute themselves. I think you might have to unmute everybody, Smita.
Oh, okay. I think they can unmute themselves because that is, I'm not having.
Yeah, they can unmute themselves.
Okay, thank you, Sally. Thank you. I think Manjula ji was trying to say something. Please feel free. This is a very safe space. So whatever reflections you have, it's good to hear from people, even if they are very small observations that you made about yourself, during the practice. It's good to know how it affected you or it didn't affect you, because it takes some time to kind of harness that mindfulness. It's a tough practice to do.
Yeah, earlier, Shreelekha ji, I was not able to unmute myself. Yeah, I kind of like the left and right nostril breathing without touching, and I think I was able to. When I focused on that, my mind was not wandering too much, because I'm trying to concentrate more on the left and right. So I think I was trying to be in the present. So that was the best thing I think I found out from the session. So the normal breathing, it was still going around. The left and right was really helpful.
Thank you so much. It delights me to hear that one technique actually is very helpful, because then that becomes your go-to practice. Anytime that life throws you watermelons in the form of pulses, you can use this kind of very easy technique where nobody knows that you're doing it, but you are being very mindful, and you will start seeing the changes. You'll start seeing the way in which you're responding to things. We talked about the 9 foundations of mindfulness. You will be taking things not so seriously. You will be accepting things more. You will be practicing patience, and you'll learn to let go. So I'm very happy. Thank you for sharing that, Manjula.
Shreelekha ji, we have Patnaik family with us, and they were following they are following since like 2.5 hours now. Okay. And it is really we really appreciate they coming here, and they appreciating us.
I'm so happy. Yes, I saw is it Sumanji? Sumanji, is that your mom and dad?
I don't know why they're not able to.
Yeah.
I'm audible. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they are my parents, and I invited them to join this session. They haven't had this kind of experience before, so I thought it's not just me. Let them also experience the beauty of yoga, meditation, and mindfulness. And I must admit this was such a thoughtful session, and thank you so much for organizing this. I could really feel, the huge difference within myself within just these 2 hours of session. Like everyone experienced, I was feeling my mind going haywire in between, but slowly as the session was progressing and we were doing this exercise, I could see the difference in myself and also my parents. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sumanji. That's the most positive feedback I've received. And I would like to extend my gratitude to your parents for spending such an extensive time with us. And for you for being such a very, I would say, responsible son for introducing them to this mindfulness. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much again.
Our heartfelt gratitude to you, Shreelekha ji, and everyone who have joined in today's session. I think we are reminding goes back to your slides that we have to be showing gratitude and be generous in our thoughts. And but it was very helpful, and we are really very happy and very thankful to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you, Shreelekha ji. And it was such an informative and engaging session. Normally, I'm kind of a person who takes very little from such sessions, but I did learn a lot. And like again, the nostril technique is something, like you said, I can do anywhere and anytime while working. I think, like I said in the beginning, stresses at work, physical stresses and things like that, it is definitely is going to be very helpful.
Very good.
I would also like to thank Smita ji for moderating this event for us, for putting it together for us. As always, she's very involved in seva and organizing such webinars. And
thank you, Rohit ji. It is team effort. It is team effort, I would say. Everybody.
I want to express my gratitude to Smita ji also, because we have been in touch for a long length of time. So I appreciate her patience, but she has been pursuing me, and this took place after many, many months. So I was traveling, and I told her that once I was traveling, I'd gone to meet my parents in India. I told her, but she was very patient. She said, we'll do it once you come back. And she kept on reaching out to me till we've settled on this date today. So thank you, Smita ji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We all need to thank Smita ji for pursuing you, Shreelekha ji, because we learned so much about actually not learned, but experienced that calmness in the life, that fast-paced life.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
That Smita ji deserves this credit.
No, it's not no credit. It is all God has given us this. Every individual is doing effort on their end, and thanks to basically Dr. Shree. So she's
all of you, because I'm very happy I was able to reach out to so many of you, and I hope this permeates in all facets of your life, because the more you practice it, the better you get. So you have to just keep on becoming more engaged with it. The trick is practice it more, because it's not something like learning to do Surya Namaskar, where you learn 12 asanas and you put it together and say, I learned Surya Namaskar. This is a very subtle practice, and hence it is very tough, because you're playing with the mind, literally. Playing with the body is easy. Conforming in different postures is easy, but conforming the mind is where the whole challenge is. And mindfulness is the practice of the mind. So conforming the mind is very tough.
Yeah, I have to admit that, because my son is doing meditation every day, my younger son, but he keeps reminding us, like, you should be doing, do this, and it will transform you. So
right.
The good takeaway is that it doesn't have to be a too much long duration of meditation. I kind of liked it the way Shreelekha ji gave us the break, it can be very small, and then down the line it will be a big impact. So I think that's a very big takeaway for me, that it can be broken down, and I don't have to specifically sit and designate a time to do that. I can do it anytime, anywhere. So that's a big takeaway for me.
Right.
Imeji, do you have something to share?
Yeah, I'll definitely practice the nostril breathing because it really helps me to train my mind, because it's hard. Every time it's hard to train your mind. So yeah, I'll definitely practice that.
Thank you, Simi.
Thank you so much for the session. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to hear from you because I know you are a teacher and I've taught after school programs, Montessori schools and elementary schools. So I know the school setting and I know how hard teachers work and I know how stressed they are. So I'm very happy it can make a huge difference in your lifestyle.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And one more reminder, next month on August 19th, we have a webinar on 5 Wishes, done by 5 Wishes Foundation. So please attend it. We'll send out an invite to everyone as soon as it's ready.
Thank you, Rohitji, for giving us this opportunity to join these kind of sessions.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining again. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.